And now that we're past
Hello and
the...
welcome people back to the PS2 Harry Potter game. I'm your host, Stanley. Nico's out today giving people pieces of candy, even though I told him Halloween was 2 months ago, and he was like, "You're not the boss of me, Stan. Everybody wants juicy fruit." I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess." And now we're trapped in the library
I love
with
how
the
he
most
just...
evil of creatures.
I love how he just immediately snaps his head in the direction of all of the floating books. And here I'm going to quickly cut out to when I have stolen all of the beans in this room, because we don't need to see that. Because I just went around. There's a lot of beans to collect. And while I don't really have too many things to buy anymore, it's just a few cards, I still, Grabby Potter cannot help himself, really.
Of course.
Now this is really nice because this perspective actually helps you with figuring out when to go and when to stop. And you can't get anything from these shelves.
Why doesn't the game know that we want to steal from all shelves?
I really like the ambience of this place. It has a good atmosphere with all of these books floating about and this ominous music.
Yeah, I imagine this would actually terrify some kids.
There is a lot of parts to this game that would terrify kids.
Would it be as psychologically horrifying as Digimon gamers would be to little kids?
I don't think so. I don't think many things could compare with the brilliance of Digimon tamers and their eternal hate for small children.
Or
Or like,
freaking Dumbo with pink elephants on parade.
it's like more that it's deceptively cute and for kids,
Yeah.
but it's not really. Okay, and one more shimmying thingamajig. Thankfully, Harry's pretty fast with those. Not quite as fast as he is in the third game, though. He can really speed through the shimmying in that one. It's pretty hilarious.
He put all of his muscles into his legs.
Now, like in the third one, they kind of acknowledge that he's the one who does all of the acrobatics, based on his experience in all of the other games. It's really funny when you consider the context of, you know, most of his games actually being platformers
Right.
in some way, shape, or form. Like this one's more of a Zelda game than a platformer, but you know, it has platforming in it to a degree. Now here in this place there is still candy to pick up, but there are also gonna be bugs, you know, evil bugs, those that will attack us for no reason with little to no wind up, and we'll have to abuse like masterfully Bayonetta around with our invincibility frames from picking up candy from the bookshelves.
As you do.
Yeah. It's- I had a random thought recently. Like, what if Platinum Games made a
A
Harry
Harry
Potter
Potter
game?
game.
I mean, all they would have to do is change witch time to wizard time. It's leave everything else as it is. I bet many people would be into Harry becoming naked whenever he attacks people with powerful magic,
uh,
considering the
it,
fan
it,
base of this franchise.
it would be
And
like Harry Potter fused with Art Tonolico.
exactly, I mean, like, have you seen the fanfics for this thing, for this
Yes.
franchise?
Yes.
Yeah, I sent you one, the best one there is, which I
Hermione and
thought.
Ginny versus Face was.
Yes, Hermione and Ginny versus Space Wizards. If you have not read it, do yourself a favor. It is the best piece of literature ever conceived.
I don't know about that, but it is pretty freaking good.
It is great.
Hedwig!
How is Hedwig still able to get here?
She's very smart and wisdomful.
I guess so. You know, every time Hedwig's delivered manuscript shit to us, right?
Yeah.
I always like to imagine Hedwig's actually talking, but we just don't hear her voice.
Maybe.
Like only Harry can hear her.
Or he thinks he can hear her. He's just going crazy.
Don't go crazy.
Don't go crazy, don't go crazy, don't go crazy. Those bookshelves are totally not suspicious at all.
Nope, not at all.
What's really nice about the bigger bean bag, because like you remember, when our beans were getting up to like near 50, we'd get almost nothing from anything, right? So it's based on percentage rather than how many beans you have. So now that even though I have 100, I still can get quite a lot. Like even up to 4, even up to 4 by, yeah, like over here, you get 3, you get 2 of them.
Why do all of the beans sound like glass?
I don't know.
Like I just noticed. Like,
I think it's more the sound of like searching through all of the things that are on the shelves.
like it's literally just someone just jiggling around a glass of ice. That sound.
Yeah, that's kind of it. But like I always imagine it was like a lot of dust collectors, like, you know, little porcelain figurines that nobody ever cleans.
Totally, I could see that. Off she goes.
Okay, and let's avoid all of the evil books. I may need those. Now this platforming section, this upcoming platforming section is very odd, mostly because you can shimmy around the edge, like it's you can do it, like not here, or even though it looks like you can do it, but you can just jump over everything. It's not a problem. Like, oh, okay, now it's triggered. I did it wrong this time, but you can just jump over those like jump over to the other side, no problem. As you can see here, it's not even like nothing there. It's not even like so far away that you may not make it. It's just perfect distance. But they still put those shimmying things. I guess maybe if you feel like you have problems with the platforming, and this is an odd one.
What are you
now
standing
it's fine.
on? Okay.
Magic. It's magic. Can't find any more candy in the bookshelves.
If I explain it, then it's not magic.
Now I can jump over. And see here, you have all of those things that you could shimmy on, but none you don't have to.
Yeah. just jump.
And here I'm really trying to not fall down.
This is it. Hogwarts for history. Now all I need to do is get back to Hermione.
I mean, aren't you supposed to bring the book to her? I don't know what absorbing it is gonna accomplish in the long run.
They just kind of seem to have programmed it as if it were a spell that isn't actually a spell.
Right.
You know, because it has the same little holder thingamajig, and it appears exactly the same as every other spell you find in the game. I guess they must have had to they had to cut some corners around places because you know, this game was released on a CD as opposed to a DVD.
Right. Which means that whenever you play it, your PS2 makes it the most wonderful noise.
Oh yeah, you can't hear anything. Like, honestly, and also the load times are pretty fucking awful.
Yes.
You can actually make this game run better by converting the ISO in such a way that it can be played off of a DVD, and this is really horrifying.
Yeah, seriously. Like the frickin' haunted piano on Mario 64.
Yeah, kinda. Although this one is not a
It's
jump
still-
scare.
Yeah.
Now, I always get confused around this part because, like, you see here, this is obviously where it needs to go, right? So it falls over and I can climb on it. No, actually, this isn't it.
Flipendo.
It's actually as simple as attacking it over and over from the front.
Just keep hitting it.
And moving left and right and left and right. Charging the spell makes really no difference.
Flipendo. Ah.
And I get hit once.
Flipendo. Flipendo.
And that's it.
And now it's dead.
Like, if I were designing it, I would put it differently because, like, you see, you're supposed to take this block over there to step on it, and that block is the identical height to that bookshelf.
Right.
So, like, guys, you had it there.
You had a thing and you blew it.
Kinda, they just had to turn around this corridor and it would be a more interesting way to advance. I should advise, don't collect everything in here, because you're gonna need some health pickups after you're done with this platforming section.
Oh god.
It's not... And like, it's kinda hard, but it's still doable. It's way worse on the GameCube, and it's actually like the first nail to me dropping my last playthrough of that game. Because you see here how like the camera is normal as it is in every other place, and the ghosts are very random when it comes to attacking you. It's hardly predictable.
Ow.
And you can't really pick up the beans.
Lumos.
It's actually, like, I found out that it's actually very easy to dodge things, like particularly ghosts by aiming and just pressing X. Oh, and I fell down there. You remember how it does that little duck, right?
Yeah.
That is seemingly worthless, but it's actually very good against ghosts,
Nice.
Lumos.
which I find out later. But what I was gonna say, in the GameCube version, they put fixed camera angles in this section
Oh
that
no.
that change as you jump. Like
Oh,
they swing, and it's like it's impossible to actually know when you're going to land, and it took me so many tries to do it. It's not funny. Like I still beat this section, but it really was no fun.
Jesus.
Like I mean, this version of this section isn't much better. It's just less bad. Because I don't think those ghosts need to be here. Or at least I don't think 2 of those ghosts need to be here. Because they're not very well synchronized, so to say. And here, I like in the GameCube version, I fell down so many times on this final one.
Oh.
Got it. The Scourge spellbook.
And if you fall on the last one, you receive damage for falling.
Now we can get rid of goop.
Mm-hmm. And here are all of the other spells. If I drop down, it's gonna be fine. If I fell down, it would hurt, but if you just drop down, it's better. Or less bad. And this is why you don't want to collect everything. I mean, you could also just pop a Wiggenweld potion. It's not like you're gonna really use it for anything else. I mean, you're gonna use it for some things later, but in the game, but like not in this section, not really.
I'm still fascinated by books sounding like glass. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder what you're supposed to do here.
I love it how it's like you don't even really need to hold it for any amount of time. It's just the weakest version of the spell is just done. Like you can charge it, but it's completely pointless.
What if it made the same splat sound effect as in the ring?
That sound effect is horrible.
It's amazing.
Who thought that was a good idea? Especially since the game actually was trying to be somewhat serious.
Oh man.
What the hell was that?
I don't know.
But it didn't happen the second time. In any case, the animation for getting hit by the goop in the GameCube version is a lot more interesting because Harry just splats himself entire in goop, and he just looks at his ruined robe. Like there are a few additions which are really entertaining in the GameCube version. Okay, I have another question. How in the hell did Hermione actually know where the restricted section in the library is?
That is a good question.
I mean, I think she did go to the restricted section in the first year.
Lumos!
But if she's such a Miss Goody Good, why would she do that?
Yeah.
But then again, she sends us on all of those missions.
Yes,
What's he doing in here? Looking
I
for
love
his
that they're
friend
perfectly
Michael? Or
synchronized.
is he running an errand for that mudblood Granger? Whatever it is, Crab, I think it's time to teach him a lesson.
Interesting little fact. That scene and like the whole notion of Malfoy and his Goonies actually being there. Completely missing in the GameCube version.
Huh.
Not there. Not at all. Not present.
Why?
And it's even weirder considering what's gonna happen later. I think that right now I'm gonna need yeah, because I cannot, that gap too small, that cloth too heavy. Harry just needs to go on the cutting.
All of the tapestry.
All of the tapestries. All the fried chicken.
Yes.
So yeah, in the GameCube version, that happens as well. But if I'm giving the benefit of the doubt, I may be misremembering things, but I remember being surprised that the PS2 version did have a scene with Malfoy, and I remember the GameCube version not having anything there.
Right.